The bruises had faded, but the pain never left. Maya stood in front of the courthouse, staring at the massive columns that seemed to loom over her like silent judges. The cold autumn air bit at her skin, but she barely noticed. She had been standing here for almost 10 minutes, gathering the courage to walk inside. Inside was where everything would change. She adjusted the sleeves of her blazer, making sure they covered the faint marks on her wrists, marks that had taken weeks to heal but would stay with her forever. It had been 4 months since that night. Since they had taken her. Since they had laughed while she begged. She had tried to move on. Pretend. Heal. But no amount of time erased the truth, and when she saw them, the men who had done it, walking free, smiling, living as if nothing had happened, something inside her snapped. So she made a choice. She was done hiding. She was done being afraid. Maya had never been inside a courtroom before, but she knew this place would decide whether justice existed for people like her. A black woman standing alone against powerful white men. And she was alone. Her family had told her to drop it. What's done is done. Her friends had begged her not to go through with it. They'll ruin you before you can ruin them. But Maya was already ruined. And if she had to burn herself to the ground to make them pay, so be it. With a deep breath, she walked inside. The courtroom was colder than she expected. Maya sat across from them, hands clasped in her lap to keep them from trembling. Trevor Whitmore. Carter Hayes. Michael Green. Rich. White. Privileged. They didn't look nervous. They looked bored. Trevor, the ringleader, leaned back in his chair, his blue eyes scanning her with amusement, as if this was all a joke. Carter whispered something in his ear, and they both smirked. They weren't scared. Why would they be? Their families had money, power, influence. They had lawyers that could twist facts, shift blame, turn her into the villain. Maya had seen it before. Women like her, black women, didn't get justice in rooms like these. But then she looked at her lawyer. Jordan Matthews. A black man, sharp as steel, with eyes that burned with the same fire as hers. He had warned her. They will drag you through the dirt. They will lie. They will paint you as a bitter, vengeful woman looking for a payout. Maya had met his gaze and said, "Let them try." Now, as the trial began, she held on to that fire. The prosecutor spoke first, laying out the case in cold, brutal detail. What they had done. How they had done it. How Maya had barely survived. Then came their defense. A story twisted beyond recognition. Maya had wanted it. Maya had led them on. Maya was trying to ruin their lives over one bad night. She clenched her fists. The anger, the disgust, the rage, it burned, but she swallowed it down. She had known this was coming. She had prepared for it. Then, one by one, the witnesses took the stand. Their friends. Their allies. They swore under oath that Maya had been drunk, flirty, laughing. That she had changed her mind afterward. That she was looking for revenge. Lie after lie. Maya felt her stomach twist, but she didn't flinch. Then it was her turn. She walked to the stand, back straight, voice steady. She told the truth. She described everything. And as she spoke, she saw something shift in the courtroom. Some jurors avoided her gaze, but others, they listened. And for the first time, doubt flickered across Trevor Whitmore's face. The jury was out for 3 days. 3 days of waiting. Of staring at the phone. Of wondering if she had done enough. Then, on the morning of the 4th day, the call came. She stood outside the courthouse again, breathing in the crisp air, before stepping inside. The room was packed. Journalists. Spectators. Supporters. Haters. She took her seat. The judge asked the jury if they had reached a verdict. A woman in a navy blue blazer stood. The forewoman. Her voice was steady. "We have, Your Honor." The courtroom held its breath. Maya's heart pounded so hard she thought it might stop. Then, guilty. One word. One powerful word. Trevor Whitmore's face drained of color. Carter Hayes gaped in shock. Michael Green clenched his jaw. They hadn't expected this. They had thought they were untouchable. But they were wrong. The judge spoke, but Maya barely heard. The world blurred as relief crashed over her, leaving her breathless. She had won. She had fought back. And for the first time in a long time, she felt whole again.